Hello, ladies, and welcome back to our Flourish Women's Podcast. You are now locked into a judgment-free zone where we take on real-life issues and we meet them with godly truth, wisdom, and transparency. My name is Lakia Duff, and I am your host for today's episode, Flourish Family. How are you guys, ladies? How are you guys today?
I'm doing great.
I am good. Look here.
Good.
I'm very happy to be here.
I am glad that you guys are here. So today with me, I have co-host Lori and co-host Lady Taryn.
Hey, ladies.
Great. Flourish family, I hope you ladies are doing well. I hope you're having a great day. And I hope that this episode just brings you a little bit more encouragement. I hope it inspires you, and I hope it helps you get you through your week. So today's topic, we will be talking about finances. But before we jump into that, we are going to go to our segment, which is called You Grow Girl. I've introduced this before on our previous episodes, but just to remind you, You Grow Girl is pretty much just us talking about our wins. And it doesn't have to be a big win or it could be a small win. But I think we should always celebrate when we accomplish something that we've been working towards, because it doesn't always have to be big. So I want to ask Lori today.
Oh, Lori's in the hot seat. Okay.
What's something you've been
ready.
working on? What's something that you've grown in? Tell us a win.
So I'm a big to-do list person for all my organizers out there, and gotta have your list. I will wake up, look at my list, check it off, and go strictly on my list.
Yeah.
I didn't leave room for the Holy Spirit, for my husband, for my family. Nobody could tell me nothing. I'm like, look, list.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say I'm proud of myself for yielding to God to be like, you know what? I'm going to shift today, because at the top of my list was working out, but he told me to be in my word, or he told me to go call my aunt. So I'm like, all right, Lord, you working on me. Let me shift my, get off my to-do list. So that's a win for me, because I would not shift. It's like I was tunnel vision.
That is a
So
good
yeah,
one.
that's a win
That's
for me.
a good one.
I can
I know
definitely
a lot of
relate.
times when you are even just one of those people that you're like very goal oriented,
Yes.
and you have a lot going
Yes.
on. That list is so important.
That list is real.
It is.
That thing
and
is
so
real.
to be able to deviate from that list, but still know that you're doing what you're supposed to be
Exactly.
doing is a major. That is a big.
That's
one.
huge.
I think that's the good thing about it, because your perspective changes with it.
Yes.
You're like, okay, I'm still getting something accomplished.
Yes.
And I mean, more than all the things that are on your list, the important thing is about being obedient. And so
Exactly.
for me, when I'm like, okay, well, I'm being obedient, like I feel accomplished with that. So
Yeah. And then a lot of times when you do what God is telling you to do versus what you thought you were supposed to be doing, you
Exactly.
realize, you may realize later why he asked you to do
True.
that first,
Yeah.
or work on X, Y, Z. versus-
It fall in place.
yeah,
exactly.
that's true.
Exactly. So, thank you, Lori. Thank
You
for
grow,
sharing.
girl.
You grow,
You
girl.
grow, girl.
No, you grow, girl.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So I want to go ahead and jump straight into the topic of finances. So
Dun, dun, dun.
I know.
Drum roll, please. Okay.
This
Talk
is
about that money.
a big deal. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize how important it is to have your finances together. So that's really good. So one thing that I'm going to kick it off, and I'm going to throw it to you guys, whoever wants to answer first.
Okay.
What is
we both in the
something-
hot seat.
What
Get
is
ready.
something that you wish you knew about money when you were younger? So let's say maybe like high school age, or when you first started getting your own paycheck and managing your own money, you weren't asking for your parents for money anymore. What's something that you wish somebody would have told you?
Lori look like she ready to fire
Girl,
off.
I got a list. I wish, number one, somebody modeled something for me. Because in my house, spend, make that money. H&R Block is the spot. I'm like,
Oh,
what is
wow.
the H&R Block? I'm ready to get taxed. What is the? I did not see. I seen debt. I
Oh.
seen just,
Yeah.
I don't have enough. I'm going to just put something on it. That word used to irritate.
Oh,
put
my
something
goodness.
on it.
Put
Yeah,
some on
yeah.
it.
So what I'm hearing
That's
is
a
I'm
trigger
hearing
word
you
right
on
there.
the phone with the collection agency, and they telling you it's 100, but you saying I'm gonna put something on. What is it? $10? Like I used to be like, what are you talking about? So I just wish somebody would have not just like talk to me about saving or anything. I didn't get that either, but like model, like what does this look like? Didn't know what a
Yeah.
401k was, so I became an adult. Like in college, like 401, what is that? Oh, the number 4, or what? Like, what is that? Like, I didn't know
Yeah.
nothing. Savings
Yeah.
account. Well, I put $50 in there. Like, what is $50? So I just wish somebody would have started. I ain't even gonna say high school, like middle school, to be like,
Yeah,
you
that's
know
a good
what?
point.
I don't care if you got $100 for Christmas, put 50 to the side
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's my
I think for me, that's the saving part. Of course, the being in debt, because that's kind of what I saw. Like, well, I may not have the cash to pay for this thing right now, but I'm still going to get it. And I saw that begin to play out in my own habits because I was never taught differently. And so I know my parents, they did a great job with what they could, but I realized it was some things that I didn't pick up along the way to where I am now, that I'm learning or having to relearn as far as when it comes to money. And so saving is really big for me, just, understanding like it's important to have a savings account. It's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like you want to have a savings account instead of just allowing the money to come in and then just giving it right back out.
Exactly.
Pay yourself first, basically.
Exactly. And I want to touch on savings because I think for savings, people get intimidated. Like,
Yeah.
it's my money. So why I can't? And it's like, no, you're saving for a rainy day, emergency fund. Now I changed the word. It's abundance fund. Like, this my
I like
abundance
that.
fund. Yeah, change it because savings or emergency is like
Yeah.
panic. But
Yeah.
it's like, no, it's abundant. It's abundant.
Yeah, even some people get intimidated by the B word, the budget.
Yes.
Budget, and so that can be kind of intimidating for people too. But I like how you changed that up. That's cool.
I think that's good. One thing I wish somebody would have told me was really breaking down the difference between your needs and your wants.
Oh, that's good.
That's huge.
Like, because
Yes,
in my
ma'am.
family, like, we didn't have everything, my parents weren't rich, but we never went without anything that we needed, and we always got what we wanted.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily, but I didn't realize that us getting what we wanted may have meant that my parents were putting stuff on credit cards, like you said, like accumulating debt just to give us what we wanted. And I love my dad for that, my mom for that. Like, they made me feel like a princess. They made me feel like I was valuable and I was important. I got everything pretty much that I asked for. But as I got older, it was like I was still, I was like, well, I want it. And if I got the money for it, I'm going to get it. And then it got to the point, like you said, I started seeing habits in my own life where I was like, well, I want it. And they gonna give me a credit card for it, so I can still get it. And so it took me a while to figure out, you don't need to have your nails done.
Yeah, say
All
that.
the time.
I think a lot of people learned that with
Nothing.
COVID
Okay.
coming.
Yeah.
You realize, like,
Yeah.
I don't have to get my hair done, or I don't have to get my nails done as much as I was, or at all,
Exactly.
So
For me, it was like, I knew that, and I started practicing it before, but I really put it in discipline when I started planning for my wedding. Because that budget was like,
Child.
we were like, this is how much we want to pay on the wedding, and so we're sticking to a budget. And so then I was like, okay, well, the nails can get cut, I don't have to go to the salon to get a full silk press and pay that $70-something. I can go get my ends trimmed, make sure my hair is still healthy, wash, and flat iron it myself. So, like, just looking at needs and wants, and if I don't have the money for it, do I absolutely need it? Because
Exactly.
a lot of people look at a credit card as like, oh, put it on your credit card and you pay it off later. Like Lori said, put something on it. I heard that all the time.
All my life.
Well, so it's like,
Yeah.
if you don't, and once I got older, they told me, if you have a credit card, make sure you have the money to actually pay off what you're putting on your credit card.
right.
And if you don't, and if it's an emergency, come up with a plan. Like, at least have a plan as to how you're going to pay this off.
Yes.
So just really looking at like needs versus wants. And I think that's like the basic of finances, because like if you start there, we cut out cable.
Oh, we did too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Got that Netflix.
Yeah, that good old
It's
Netflix. But you know why they keep upping the charge on
They
us?
do.
You know what? We just I was telling
$13.99.
Amy
wait a
that today.
minute.
I was like 17. I remember at Netflix used to be $8.99.
Yes.
When did this happen?
When? How? But
COVID, yeah.
they're like, everybody's at home.
Right. So that was good. That was good for me too. So I'm gonna pose another question for you guys. I know we talked about credit and putting someone in. Like, when did you guys learn about credit and how credit works, and like, how did you manage your credit?
Okay.
when it comes to finances?
So it's crazy because being the second child, I kind of saw some things from my older sister first. And what's interesting is I did not open a credit card until I graduated from college, y'all.
Really?
That was, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I think I saw some stuff that happened with like debt and, you know, not my sister. She wasn't in debt necessarily, but it was like I just began to kind of like observe some things, and I'm like, wait a minute, okay, I may not want to open a credit card, especially if I know I don't have the money. I don't know, like that had to be God to kind of keep me because, well, I'll take that back. I did open one credit card and I paid it off. It was at Dillard's. I wanted some shoes, so I got to tell myself, yeah, I did want to buy some shoes on a credit card, but I paid it off, and that was it. But I kept getting like a Discover, the mail from Discovery or Discover to open up a credit card, and for some reason, I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And so I did that up until after I graduated from college. And then I ended up opening it. But it was good interest rate, all of that stuff. You know, was able to be responsible to an certain extent. I had to learn some stuff, but, you know, was able to wait and hold off. And so I thought that was good. But I feel like credit, you know, it can be used as a good thing, but most of the time we don't use it in a responsible way. And so that's the thing, like for me, like even when I'm going in the store and they say, "Oh, well, you can save 5% off if you open up this card."
I got so
you
caught
know,
up with that 10%.
you think about it for a minute, like, should I?
So all of this for $5,
for $2.50.
But you get so caught up in the discount of it, and you're like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't. And so now I say, no, thank you, I'm good. And sometimes I'll say, oh no, I'm paying off debt, I'm good. You know, but I mean, I know they're just doing their job to offer it because they have a quota that they have to meet and all of that. But I'm like, no, if I can pay cash for it, that's what I'm going to do. Now, we have like a vehicle. We probably I have that on credit, but you best believe that my goal is not to pay it off in 5 or 6 years. So if I'm going to use the credit, it's not just to have it and just let it extend for, you know, longer or, you know, how they originally give it to you. But I'm like, nope, okay, I'm going to use this, but I'm going to have a plan to pay this off early, you know.
That's a good point. Yeah. What about you, Lori?
So my story is totally different. So I used to watch my granddad like get whatever.
I'm sorry.
Get whatever he want to get and not have the money for it. So I'm like, oh, I can do it too. So in college, I did get one credit card, and I didn't know what credit was. I thought like, oh, it's my money. So I can get a credit card, and it was, you know, you in college, they offering you.
Oh, yeah.
I spent like, it was literally my money, and I'm like, I don't have to pay nothing. My granddaddy didn't pay nothing on it. He had a house, you know, I'm like, I don't have to pay nothing on this. So through college, it wasn't until I graduated and they like hounded me, and I'm like, no, I really got to pay this off. Like, so I paid it off, but I didn't get a credit card again until I graduated grad school. And I got one, and it was like the regular Capital One you can use for anything, or whatever.
And get them reward points.
Yeah, to get the rewards. And I actually knew
that's the smartest way.
So I actually knew like, oh, this is what credit is, and this is what, you know, I need emergency. So then my older sister, one of my older sisters, amazing budget, like she is really good. So she would tell me and teach me because I didn't have nobody to tell me, and we didn't have those conversations. And being raised by your grandparents, they don't know. They like put $20 away. Like, okay, well, what is credit? I don't know. Just swipe. They don't know. So nobody taught them. So my sister taught me. So yeah, mine was like, I told somebody yesterday. I said I feel like to the end of my 20s, I had to like catch up with all my mistakes and just really redo life all over again when it comes to finances, because I did not know. I did what I wanted to do. You make $40,000, that's all mine. I can just do what I want to do. And it's like, no, that's not how you. But I didn't know. So I'm like, God is still working on me in some areas, but I'm so excited to be like, oh, I ain't where I used to be. But I love sharing my story because I'm like, I know other people struggling with that.
You're right.
They are struggling with credit or savings or, you know, they intimidated, like you said, about a word budget. So yeah, for me, credit now is everything. Like, of course, it'll be a year in a couple weeks. I mean, next month, sorry.
Snaps.
And so, it'll be a year. So I'm like, we couldn't get a house with no credit, good credit or budgeting. So I'm like, a long way.
So that actually is what I was about to say. So I'm gonna take it back, and I'm gonna start with answering my question with the way I asked you guys something I wish I knew. Something I wish I knew about credit, and what I've learned is that I wish somebody would have told me that the decisions I was making when I was, let me see, 22, 23, you know, between that 18 and 23 range, I wish somebody would have told me that the decisions I was making then would affect me when I'm 30. Like nobody told me that, and I think it's because my parents, they didn't really use credit for things such as buying a house or buying a car. My parents always just bought cars straight out with cash, you know, a used car. They didn't really go to the car lot. So a lot of times they didn't really, there was no credit pool or understanding of that nature. But like, I wish somebody would have told me that what I was doing in my 20s, early 20s, like 22, 23, would affect me when I'm 30, when I'm trying to buy a house, when I'm out here trying to get a car. Because like you, I was a little bit more. I was out here getting credit cards.
You was out here balling, huh?
Girl, like it was my money. I was out here getting credit cards to Macy's, to Old Navy.
Yes, swipe.
Best Buy.
Love it.
You know, they're like, you want that 15% off?
Yes,
I'll apply for a car today.
Okay. You want another car? Yes. Put something on that.
Oh my goodness.
And they running up that credit report on you.
Running the whole time. 18 inquiries.
Oh my goodness.
Right. So I didn't know any of this was going on behind the scenes. I didn't know what credit would be used for later on. And so when I got, when we started looking for home, well, no, I take that back. When I turned 25, first 26-ish, I was like, okay, I got to do better. Like, I got to get this together. So I really got serious about paying off old debt because when I was in college, I didn't have health insurance. So if I got sick, I had to go to like the ER or somewhere, and those medical bills add up. And the thing is, if you don't pay those and they go into collections, that stays on your credit for 7 years, whether you pay it or not. So I didn't know that. So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and pay off my credit, pay off these debts. So when I was about 25, 26, I got serious about getting my credit together. And so I would use my tax returns, I would use my bonuses every year, and I would pay off any bills that were out there in collections. But, you know, that didn't, it took a while for for my credit score to get better. And so, you know, here I am 29 and I am just now at the point where I can apply for a loan by myself and actually qualify for a low interest rate.
That's good.
You know,
that's
so
really good.
that's something like
discipline.
That's growth.
discipline. That's what it is.
Discipline.
So I just wish I would have known that wilding out.
We'll follow you. We'll follow you.
Yes, it will follow you. Like you can't get it.
Got a paper trail, huh?
Right.
It's like, oh, you want that Macy? I'm coming too. Like,
And it's like it doesn't leave you; it stays with you, and it's going to affect you being able to get a house. If you're looking to get an apartment in certain areas, your credit score has to be over.
Apartment.
You know, my roommate and I, when I was first looking for an apartment, like we didn't qualify. We couldn't qualify to get into like any really good apartments because our credit was not the best. And so you just don't realize how much your credit follows you and how people look at you on paper. And even though you're 25, 26, you're getting your life together, you're living a completely different disciplined lifestyle. That paper report is still going to show you 5 or 6 years ago wilding out. And they're going to be like, no, she's not responsible. I don't want to lend to her. You know, I don't want. So I wish somebody would have told me that. I wish I would have known more about credit in that aspect, because I think I would have done things a little bit different.
Oh, yeah, I know I would have too.
That's something that I would say. I know we mentioned a lot about budgeting and how that scares people. What advice would you give someone as to how to budget, or what budgeting looks like for you? How could you make that easier for someone?
I would say the first thing is knowledge and just being informed of, okay, what what is my debt? Like how much am I in debt? And knowing who you owe and just writing it out. And when you see it, like when you write down that list of all the businesses that you owe, you see those numbers, you can't let it intimidate you, because this is the first step in trying to make progress towards paying it off. But just knowing and seeing, and then looking at how much the minimum payment is. And then of course looking at what you bring in. And I know sometimes people stop right there because they're like, what I bring in is not enough to even cover my minimum payments. But it's like, you can't allow that to intimidate you. But seeing it, I think that's what really helped me, being able to write down everything, write down the minimum payments, write down the interest that you're paying on it. Because when you see that interest, you're like, wait a minute, I'm just giving away free money right now, you know? But being able to see it has really helped me. And I think, definitely praying about it, because I was at a point where like, okay, I'm going to need some wisdom on this, because I really don't know what to do. But once I got that stuff in line with the actual numbers, I felt like God started giving me wisdom in what to do, how to pay certain stuff, when to pay more on a certain debt.
Exactly.
And so just knowing firsthand, how much do I owe? Who do I owe? And then, moving forward, baby steps if you have to, with paying it off.
I agree definitely with Lady Tara, but I kind of got like a backstory. And now, so honestly, I used to be so intimidated by that area, because that was one of the weakest areas in my life. And I didn't want to face it. I'm like, nope, I'm good at everything else. Let me just focus on my strengths, keep flourishing in college. Girl, you got this. But you had negative $25 in your account. But you got this. So I'm like, okay. So when God was like, you got to face this. Like, stop running. I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, right?
Preach.
So you got to face this, because I don't have those type of plans for you. I don't know what Lord you praying to, but I'm not that one. So I was like, okay, God. So I really had to do what Lady Tara did, look at everything. But what helped me, I'm very detailed, and I can get intimidated fast if it's a weak area. So God helped me to be like, you know what? You owe $500 on your credit card. You get paid this amount every week, every month. Put $20 to $25 a week away and put it on that debt.
That's
I'm
good.
like, oh, is that easy? But people get intimidated, like, you got $500, put $500 on it. I gotta get groceries. He didn't tell you to starve yourself. He said put $20 more, because you down there at the soul food place putting $20 on.
Come on, let's talk about that.
You getting your lashes for $20. Can you put $20 a week away? And when you look at it, that adds up. It's like, I really put extra. So that's how I started to chunk down some of my debt, because God was like, look at it in small you detail. So God speak to me how I am. In a way, he like, you detail. So I can see that, like, oh, it's dwindling down. Even during COVID, like, my car note is dwindling down. I'm like, okay.
That's
and
good.
like you said, okay, if I see something, for those who are business owners or have multiple streams of income, my book sales, that go to my credit card this month. So I have a month of December. I have December written down. This month, all my Black Friday sales went to a debt.
That's
it didn't go to
That's good.
Black Friday shopping, let's go.
Yeah,
No, it went to this your debt. You gotta put, because that's extra. So I'm like, when we think of it as calculus, it's really not. It's addition and subtraction. What we learned in elementary school, and we make it calculus. So it's like, I don't care if you sell a t-shirt a day, put it on your debt. I don't care if you get an extra $15 for Christmas, put it on your debt. That helped me. And as you see it, that's when you get more motivated to be like, oh, budget don't intimidate me no more. Debt don't intimidate, because you are being successful. So that really like helped me. And I'm doing that now. So I don't want people to think like, oh, was she on here? No, I'm doing that now. Like, I did my December last month and wrote that down. Black Friday was just last week. So let's think about, like, I'm doing that right now at my age as a business owner at 32. So don't be intimidated. It's not when you start, is that you started. You started. I don't care if you're 55. You started.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
So,
good.
yeah.
So I know we don't have much time left, but I do want to ask you, ladies, how does it look different with finances now that you're married versus what you were doing when you were single?
Praise
Is
the
it
Lord.
a lot different, or?
For me, it is, I think because even prior to us getting married, we were having that conversation about money and even identifying, okay, who's the strong person in managing the finances and who does what. And so being able to have that conversation made it easier going into the marriage. For me, I think I probably splurge a lot more being single.
Yeah.
But now that I'm married and have children, of course, I put them first, and I will talk myself out of buying something.
Yeah.
Well, for one, because, we are on a debt-free journey,
Yeah.
but then also just like, okay, needs, wants, like,
Yeah.
I don't really need that.
Yep.
But, there are times where I do, splurge on myself, but I try to put that in the plan of the budget.
Yes.
And so I won't have to feel guilty about it because it's already been planned for. But I think I splurge more being single, but married now, I am more just mindful and more responsible, and especially because we have debt-free goals,
Exactly.
more focused.
That makes sense.
For me as a single woman, it was definitely different because I didn't have nobody to answer to. I don't have to tell you how much groceries I'm getting. That was just
Yeah.
me. But I think at first it was frustrating because I didn't see those conversations growing up. Everybody did what they want to do with their own paycheck. My money is my money. You work, and I'm coming into a marriage with that mindset. So then, of course, me and my husband had to talk and be on the same page, and we had to look at what makes sense. Like what makes sense. Not that society say, oh, the husband got to pay all the bills because it's what's between you
that's good.
and your husband and what the Lord is telling y'all. So whatever makes sense. It's not, because I make more money and he make more money, you need it. No, it's whatever makes sense to y'all. But like you said,
good.
that conversation. So I think for me, the difference is I have to actually talk about it
Yeah.
and actually
Oh, yeah.
collaborate, which I feel good about it, but before I'm like, I ain't never. It's intimidating. Like, talk to you about what? I'm going to get a Starbucks. Like, what do we talk to you? What do I need to say?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's like I enjoy those conversations now. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's look at this. And like
Yeah.
I enjoy it now, and it helps me. To be honest, it helps me stay accountable because I'm like,
That's
He's
right.
gonna
That's
see me Amazon 5 times, and so no.
Yeah.
That's true.
Let me like he gonna see. Well, why did you have to get Amazon every Friday? Like why? What was in? And then we share Amazon accounts so he can see.
Oh, you see
So it's
everything.
like, oh no. So that's another level of accountability. So yeah, that's how we operate.
I think
that.
that's good. I like how both of you said that communication was a big role, because I think in marriage, they say finances is one of the key factors that people have relationships go wrong because of finances. I know my husband and we have a Monday night meeting every week to go
Love
over
it.
our finances
That's good.
because things shift and change, as you know, and like car breaks down,
Every
you
day.
gotta move XYZ. So I think communication is the biggest thing to take away from that. So I really like that. But so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this
All
this
right.
episode. I thank you
Hey.
ladies for sharing. I thank you grow girl. Thank
Yes,
you
you
for that.
grow girl.
Thank you. And I just I thank both of you all. I thank our Flourish Women family for
Yes.
even
Thank
joining
you,
in today.
ladies.
I hope you were able to get something from this. I hope you had, this is inspiring to you in some type of way, that you can use this throughout your week. I do want to encourage you all, if you're in the Charlotte area, to stop by our church. We are local here in Charlotte. So if you guys are in town, come see us.
Come on through. Love to
Yes,
have
come
you.
see us. And if you want to join the conversation, if you have something that you want to add to the conversation on whatever platform that you're listening on, drop it in the comments. Drop it in the description. We want to hear from you. Like I
Yes.
said, you are a part of the family now, so we thank you. If you like what you heard today, please share this with
Share.
someone else, like and
Yes.
subscribe. But I hope you guys have a great day, and we
Great
will
day,
see you
ladies.
next week.
See you next
See you next
week.
week.